guys, this is Nigel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll give you a tour of my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. This cabinet contains a couple of my favorites in my collection, so if you're interested in rare tropical plants too, then keep on watching. First of all, this is the Milsbo glass cabinet from IKEA. So instead of having multiple shelves, I only have one shelf in there, separating the space into two parts. Now this cabinet houses mainly philodendrons. Let's look at what I have on the top part. First up is Philodendron Spendid. I actually have a couple of them in here, and this is the smallest one. It is definitely a climber, and it's giving me one new leaf every 2 weeks. With every new leaf, there's already a new growth that's coming, and I love how shimmery the new leaves are. Next up is the Verrucosum that's right next to the Spendid. You can see similarity between the two of them because the Spendid is actually a hybrid of the Verrucosum. They have very distinct veining on the leaves that shine bright, and here is a new growth coming out already. Next up is this huge Milano that is right at the back. This leaf is more than 12 inches long. It is a single leaf cutting, and the growth is finally coming out after a few months of wait. I actually rooted this cutting in water, and now it's in LiQWYD. One good thing about LiQWYD is that it looks very clean, and also you can see how the roots are growing. Next to my Milano, I have my variegated Frydek. It is definitely one of the most expensive and rarest plants I have, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make it happy. But here's a new leaf, which promises quite good variegation. It just opened up today, and I hope that the colors are gonna get more contrasting as we go along. Next to the Frydek is another Spendid. This is a more mature specimen. As you can see, the leaves are bigger and the colors are more contrasting. We have a new growth coming up already. It's really one of the fastest growing plants I have around here. Next up is my other variegated Frydek. As you can see, the colors are slightly different than the other variegated Frydek. It has a more white variegation against a darker green. It is still a relatively young plant, which explains the smaller leaves. Besides philodendrons and Alocasias, I also have a Monstera right here. This is the Monstera Standleyana, and a rather special one because it has a yellow variegation, which we call the Aurea variegation. I also have some Philodendron Micans mixed in there. These are still baby vines, and it goes all the way to this cup at the back here. Sharing this cup is a Epipremnum Albo. Not much variegation on this old leaf, but the new growth looks like it has a lot of white variegation to it. And we are all done with the first part of my cabinet, and let's go to the second part that is below. First off, we have more Monstera right here, and this is actually the mother plant that gave all the runners. These leaves are still relatively young, and so you can't see too much yellow. Moving on, let me zoom out just a little bit. This is my biggest Philodendron El Choco Red. It is so huge and absolutely gorgeous, and there's a new growth coming out already. Next to it is another El Choco Red. They are the same species. Beautiful heart shape, shimmery leaves, and a new growth at the back here is absolutely stunning. Bright red with contrasting veinings at the back. And this is the oldest leaf that is also so pristine and flawless. Definitely my pride and joy. Alrighty, moving to the back right here. Pretty awkward angle, but this is the Verrucosum Rojo. It is a relatively rarer form of Verrucosum that is not often offered. Next to it is another Epipremnum Albo. Beautiful new leaf, almost a half moon. Compared to Monstera Albos, these grow so much faster. Well, what else do I have here? This is a Philodendron Pastadanum. It is one of my propagations and it is having a beautiful new leaf unfurling right now. Right next to it is a Milano, also a single leaf cutting. I don't want to disturb it too much, but it is rooted finally, and I think I can see a new growth coming out already. These are one of the fastest growing plants that I have around. Let's not disturb it too much. Moving on, this is another Spendid, a more mature one than the first one, but a younger one than the second one. And of course, there's a new leaf coming already. The Spendid, as I said before, is one of my fastest growing plants. Of course, I'm air layering them and they're doing so well. You can see there's one growth here already. And what's hiding back here is another new leaf. Right next to the Spendid is my Philodendron Gigas. This is one of my favorite specimens because it has so many leaves. And recently I installed this moss pole to help it climb better. There's a new growth coming out already. I hope that the new leaf is going to be bigger than the previous one, which is huge already. And last but not least, another big boy Milano right here at the back. Absolutely flawless leaf, 20 inches long. She is grace and she is beauty. And for a supporting role plant, this is a sundew. It is a carnivorous plant that helps to get rid of flies in my cabinet. And this concludes the tour of the second part of my IKEA cabinet. Here's one more look at the top part. I have Philodendron Spendid, Milano, Verrucosum, also the variegated Alocasia Frydek, and the Monstera. At the bottom, more philodendrons and also some Epipremnum elbows. A tip I'd like to share when setting up your IKEA greenhouse cabinet is to have these wired shelves instead of the glass panels, and also an electric fan in the space to encourage air circulation. Of course, you'll need a humidity and temperature meter so you'll know what's going on in the space. The fan and the wired shelf really helps to ensure that the temperature and humidity is consistent throughout the entire cabinet. Another tip that I'd like to share is weatherproofing. Laying down weatherproofing strips along the doors of your IKEA cabinet is going to help to keep the humidity in. As you can see, I do not have a humidifier inside the cabinet because I think it's a waste of space. So with weatherproofing, I'm able to keep the humidity in the cabinet above 80% at all times. One last tip for you guys, do not have your lights too close to your plants. Do keep in mind that these are tropical plants used to live in the undergrowth of a jungle. So they do not need direct sunlight and they definitely do not need artificial light right in their face at all times. I actually had 2 shelves in this cabinet and then I reduced it to 1 so that my plants are not too close to the lights. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two about setting up a IKEA greenhouse cabinet and also taking care of these rare tropical plants. Please give me a big thumbs up if you like this video and I'll see you guys soon. Adios!